Hello everybody, we're back again with the SFR Mexican Grand Prix, of course, round 8. In the previous qualifying session, we messed it up a little bit. We set the car performance on equal instead of realistic. Of course, it's a realistic league, and as we saw, Luke Mills putting it into P1 with a Williams, which is basically the slowest car on the track. It's not very realistic, so we decided to redo the qualifying session, and then we do a 50% race. So that's all good, and we will see what these gentlemen can do at the moment. A Spanish Pen also is serving a qualiban, so that's why he retired. And Big Sauce, I think, is also serving a qualiban. So that's that for the moment being. But yeah, that's what happened in the previous session. So let's hope it's all good right now, and we can go further with this Grand Prix at the moment. Um, yeah, it's Luke Mills, who said in the previous session the P1 is now leading the pack for the first lap. Um, going on board with him in a second. Let's see what he can do, of course. Luke doing a great job this season with Williams. I think he's P5 in the championship standings, which is absolutely crazy. If you know how slow and how stiff this car is, so he's lining it up for his first lap of the new qualifying session. So yeah, Luke doing a very great job this season, and I think he's very much showing his potential. And yeah, in my opinion, he needs to get a better seat for next season because he looks crazy fast to me as he goes into the first corner. Very heavy braking zone. You don't want to lock up the rears, of course, and then this right, left, right section, and you line it up again for a little straight in the first sector. It's all based on the top line speed, something which the Williams is good at. As he says, it's a 28.7 for the first sector, missing the apex a little bit in the first corner there, and then lining it up nicely for these two right-handers, which are very flowing. So you want to get that right. Also the exit, and then you go to sharp left-hander where you don't want to touch the grass because then your car gets offset for these S-section corners, as you can pronounce it. As he's cutting everything absolutely fine. You don't want to invalidate on that outside. And then going into the last section with the beautiful stadium, of course. Also very technical corners, very low speed, so easy to lose time and also easy to gain time on other drivers. As he's going to the to the finish line, and let's see what he can do. He puts it with a 16.9 provisional pole position. Sombos goes into the pit. Lennart puts it on P1 with a 16.6. Very good lap by him. SFR Kogoda goes to 16.1, showing his pace in the Mercedes. So that's very good testament by him, of course. Boss Cookie going to the last sector as well, as he's losing it almost on the exit, keeping the car straight, not retiring the car already. You don't want that on the beginning of a quali session. So let's see what Boss Cookie can do. I think on this second run he can gain a lot of time, but still P3 is a very good lap. Also Henry going to P6 at the moment with 17.6. Max Martin P5. As Fico is also crossing the finish line at the moment, goes to P2 with a 16.1, only 50 thousandths separated between him and Kogoda. So that's a great lap by Kogoda and Fico right there, as Ruleton is still on the outlap. With Alex in front of him, going for a quick lap. Let's see what he can do. Going through the S section. Oh, he cuts that absolutely perfect, but I think he invalidated, and touching the grass is not optimal as well. So he will have a go at it again. It's also Big Sauce retires with the quali ban he has. Galaxy going through the second sector. Let's see what he can do compared to his teammate being in P2 at the moment. So the car is looking good for Ferrari at the moment. He goes to round off this second sector. Gets a purple sector. I don't know if that's a glitch in the game or it's really his pace. I'm not doubting him. He's very quick. We've seen that in F2. and then he deserved his seat fully, of course. Going to the last corner. Let's see, touching the curbs a bit too much maybe, but it's all good. Steady exit. Let's see where he puts it. Puts it on P3, 1.5 tenths behind his teammate. That's not too bad from Galaxy. Let's see, where's Rulator now starts his lap. Let's have on board with him. Going through the first 3 corners, of course, very swinging. Yeah, you want to be nice on exit here because you have a little straight. Also transforming into a big braking zone. Let's see what he does. Opening with a 28.4, purple first sector. As he goes here through the right-hander. Don't want to invalidate on this section because it's very easily done. Going to the 2 right-handers, having a little snap on the exit, but all good. And he don't want to cut this as much as his teammate did, and he doesn't. He neglects that very well. Going through the S section, cutting it absolutely perfectly, as he's always doing in this SFR season. Being on the fast hand and having that great car, but he's absolutely showing it with his skills. Very good second sector as well. Yeah, good rotation right there, which you obviously want, and then going through the last sector, tapping that inside curb a bit, letting it go out wide. A little bit of a snap on the exit, but nothing too crazy. Let's see where he puts it. He puts it on P1 with a 15.9. Great lap by Gorilla Turn right there. 2 tenths faster than Kagoda. So he did a good lap. Zombo also being on his fly right now. He wants to set in a lap. This is Benny also didn't set his lap at the moment, so Haas needs to do a lot of work to get them up. See where they can, of course, finish in this qualifying session. As the minimap says, it's purple sector, but I'm quite sure it isn't. Not down talking on Zombo, of course, doing a great job this season with the Haas. Ooh, is he losing his it when I say it? I'm giving him a bit of a commentator's curse. Sorry, Zombo. Let's see if he can finish off the lap and get up to some higher position, maybe in the top 10. Yes, he goes to P8, but I'm very sure he can improve a little more than that with the snap, of course, he had. At the moment, Ruler turn P1, nothing crazy right there. Kagoda P2, quite good position for the Mercedes, of course. Then you have Fico P3, Galaxy P4, and then Lennart in the Alpine. Yeah, doing absolute bits again in P5, which is quite crazy to be honest. And then we have Boss Cookie in P6, also a very good place for him. Cringe, his teammate, still needs to do his lap. I think he's on the lap. Let's see where he is at the moment. Going to the last sector, to the stadium. Nice rotation right there. Let's see if he can put it to P6 or higher and gets very close to his teammate. That's obviously what you want. Your teammate is your first rival, and you can always compare yourself with him. Let's see what he can do as he shortened up this corner. Goes to P7, only a tenth slower than Boss Cookie, so they're quite close to each other. Absolutely driving the Aston Martin to the limit at the moment. So I think I have Alex on the lap. Yeah, he is. Let's see what he can do. Maybe get a bit closer to return. He has no time yet, but this one is still valid. So let's see what he can do. Touching the inside curb a bit too much. It's all good. Lining it up for the last corner. Let's see where he can put it. He puts it to P4, so that's a good lap by him. And the P5 to P1 is only separated by 4 tenths, so that's very close. Henry also rounding off his lap. Let's see if he can improve by a bit. Yes, he does. He goes back to P10, improving by 3 tenths. Very good from him. Henry also his debut at the Kotek Grand Prix, getting some points for Williams, which is of course very good for them, as it still is the slowest car on track, of course. Lennart also in his flying lap, having a little bit of traffic with the Ferrari on the left, not optimal, but I'm quite sure Lennart is still focused as he lines it up for this corner. Going very nicely indeed, using the track at its maximum. As oh, that's not too good. Who crashed there? I think that was Klot, as the Red Bull was impeding him pretty much there. I don't know what Alex was doing right there, but okay. Let's see what Lennart can do. He's still going a bit faster than he was going, so he's doing a great job at the moment. Let's see if he can go up by a position, maybe getting himself into that top 5, of course. As he rounds off the last corner, trying to get that as tight as possible, as he improves by 1.5 tenths, but it is just not enough to get himself into P5, but P6 is a great job. from Leonard, and maybe even more time to find without all the distraction he got in that lap, of course. As FICO is also lining it up for a lap, also already beginning at it. FICO doing a very good job this season with Ferrari. It's tough for him to get his first race win. He won the sprint race in Qatar, which was a very good result, but he's still looking for that official Grand Prix win, of course, with Ferrari. As he's losing it on the exit a bit, so that's not very optimal. I'm sure he lost a lot of time in that particular section of the track. As he's 2.5 tenths down, so that's not very optimal. Let's see what Galaxy is doing as he's entering the S section, touching the grass a little bit. Curb is offsetting his car to the left. As he's cutting these parts very good. You don't want to invalidate there. He doesn't, keeps it between the white lines as the FIA likes to see it. As he's 21 thousandths down on his time. So let's see what he does. Going into the stadium section. Absolutely beautiful. Very nice part of the track, I have to say. As he goes to the last corner, very smooth. Let's see if he has a nice exit. He has. Let's see if he can put himself up a bit. Yes, he got the position from Alex, so he's into P4. 70 thousandths from FICO. I think FICO backed off. I don't know if he's going for another one on this set. He probably will, but it won't be optimal. So FICO still, of course, has a lap left at the last moment. Looks also down by a bit. In P7 with the Williams, very good. So I also have to say Tesla is doing a good job at the moment with the AlphaTauri in P10. So we see Boss Cookie then in the final section, who's sliding a bit around, maybe holding the brakes for a bit too long. Trying to line it up again for the last corner. You see a very different lines. FICO took it pretty wide on this last corner, but Boss Cookie takes it very tight and improves with 2 tenths, overtaking Luke Mills again for P7. As a lot of people are in the pit right now. FICO's still on this lap, but I think he's going to abort this one. Unless he's up by a lot, but I think that's not very possible at the moment. He's going to finish his lap. Let's see what he does. Opening that corner, as I said, and he's going to P1. Oh, that's a great lap by FICO, considering his ERS was only 75%, and he also went the lap on this tire. Very nice lap there from FICO. And now he has to rush back to the pit lane and trying to get another lap in, of course. I think he will make it. It's a short track, so if he doesn't run into slow fuel mode, he's good to go for another lap. I have one question for the chat. Is the sound right? Yeah, am I loud enough, and is the game loud enough for you guys? Alright, good to know. As Alex is the first one on outlap. As Boss Cookie retires his car? No, maybe Boss Cookie thinks that's the maximum for him. It's 16.5, and maybe he wants to spare a set of softs, of course, for the race, which can be very useful, of course, when you have a late safety car. I think FICO just got into the pit lane. I think he will be good to have to go for another lap, so that's all fine. And then we have a very close P1 to P3 ratio at the moment. Only 3 tenths separating them, so I'm very curious who's going for pole position. It might be Kugoda, might be Kurudatorn, but it also might be FICO. Kurudatorn this race can become the SFR champion, um, but he has to get P1, and FICO has to retire, so hopefully that does not happen for FICO's sake of his race, of course, as Alex begins on his final lap at the moment. Let's see what he can do in the first sector, trying to improve, of course, and getting a bit getting a bit higher as he's down by a little, but it doesn't matter that much because in the second sector you can really gain a lot of time. So it's very technical and very mechanical grip, of course. As he lines up these corners very nicely. He's cutting that corner again a lot. He's touching the grass. I don't know if that's very optimal. As he's losing the car. No, he's not crashing. So that's all good. But that's Alex's qualifying session over, I think, unless he can harvest some energy back. Hopefully he's not collecting anyone on his way back to the track. As we have no one on the lap except Max Marta at the moment, I think. Galaxy stays in the pit at the moment. Oh, I don't know if he's going out for his final lap. I think it's a bit too late at the moment. As Benny goes out very late as well. Oh no, never mind. Luke Mills starting his lap. Just as a familiar cringe. These guys being very close to each other. I'm very curious what they both can do for the disqualifying session. Luke only down by 10,000. Let's see what Cringe can do. If he's going to improve on his first sector time. Henry is still up, down by a bit. Cringe improving by 30,000. So he's putting the pressure on Luke Mills as Dan Edwin goes to P9 and that McLaren. Showing a very good chip by him. That McLaren, of course, got an upgrade. It doesn't feel very different from before the update, but Dan does a good job with it at the moment. Let's see what Luke can do. He's up by 14,000, so that's not that much at the moment, but maybe in the third sector he can find a lot of pace. As the AlphaTauri go out of his way, not trying to impede him. As he goes to tighten up this last corner, let's see what Luke Mills can do. He improves by 1.5 tenths and is going up to P7 with that Williams. Absolutely crazy stuff. As Ruleturn just starts his lap, FICO also improving by 50,000 already, so he's perfectly on the edge at the moment, trying to improve as much as possible on this new set of fresh tires. So, as well as Kugoda, but he's at 10,000, so that's not very optimal for him. Lennart just finished his lap, going to P5, absolutely crazy, showing very good pace, of course, with the Alpine. Let's see what Ruleturn can do in that first section. He's 50,000 down, so at the moment FICO's in a great spot. Still 35,000 up, so it's not that much, but every improvement is working for him. So let's see if he can collect a bit of time in the last sector, going to this corner, sliding a bit off the exit, trying to keep this very tight now. And he's going into the pit lane. Oh, he invalidated. FICO invalidated. Oh, it can be very crucial. Let's see what Ruleturn is going to do in the second sector. As FICO also is retiring his car. Ruleturn is now up by a tenth, so if he keeps it that way he can go for P1. Hopefully he doesn't make a mistake for his sake as he goes through the last couple of corners. Through the last corner is Ruleturn getting his back-to-back pole position. Let's see what Ruleturn does. He got it, but oh, what a very tight margin. Only 1/10 separating Ruleturn and FICO as Kugoda is going into the pits. But let's see what Galaxy can do. Can he overtake his teammate maybe? He stays in P4. Very close to Kugoda. Luke Mills, everyone is done actually. Yeah. Great qualifying session. Very close between Ruleturn and FICO. If he didn't invalidate that lap, he might have gotten pole position. So that's a bit unfortunate for him, to be honest. As we have Ruleturn now starting again in P1, followed by FICO and Kugoda. Yeah, tight qualifying session. I think it shows that Ferrari is very good on this track. Yeah, only 90,000, so that's not that much. Now you have a bit of a bigger gap towards Kugoda, but he didn't improve on his final lap as well, so the gaps will probably be a bit closer than that. But yeah, but Kugoda being in a very good spot actually for the start, as he gets the slipstream of Ruleturn, of course, so maybe he can try something as it's very close towards Galaxy. Lennart in P5 again with that Alpine. doing things you can't imagine, to be honest. So Leonard doing a very good job. Alex in the Red Bull P6. I think he wants to be a bit higher up. And then Luke Mills P7 with the Williams doing the same as Leonard. Something you really can't imagine. P8 Boss Cookie. P9 Dan Edwin with the McLaren also doing a very good job. And then P10 you have Formula Cringe rounding off the top 10. We're back for the SFR Round 8 Mexican Grand Prix, where Ruletorn is leading the pack on the formation lap, with Fico right behind. And then, of course, Kagoda, Galaxy, Lennart, Alex, Luke Mills, Boss Cookie, Dan Edwin, Cringe, Zombo in P11, Tessel P12, Henry P13, Ixies in P14 with the Alpha Max Maarten with the Alfa Romeo in P15, and 7 Echo P16, Penny P17, Klot P18 and P19 Penishpan and Big Sauce, who both had a qualifying or have had a they were not allowed to take part on the qualifying because they had too many penalty points. So let's see what the strategy is going to be. I suggest it will be a one-stop, but of course you can get an early safety car, so that doesn't say a lot of things. Yeah, Alex in the P6 spot. Very curious what he can do on the start, as he wants to overtake Leonard, of course. As we see the possible strategies at the moment, you can start on the softs and then go to the mediums, or you start on the mediums going to the hards. Let's see on what tires everyone is. So P1 to P7 is all starting on the mediums, as Boss Cookie is then starting on the hard tire, as well as Dan Edwin on the mediums, and then you have Formula Cringe with the hard. So you see a bit of different strategies. Very curious what's going to offer for them. As they are lining up their cars, really heating it up, as you see Fico really working the front tires with weaving as much as possible, while Ruletorn is already driving very slowly. Ooh, Fico was disqualified from the session. I think he either tapped Ruletorn or he went a bit too far on the grid slots. That might give him cold tires at the beginning of the session. As Big Sauce rounds off his car. 1 red light, 2 red lights, 3 red lights, 4 red lights, 5 red lights. Lights are out and away we go, and let's see what Ruletorn can do on this session, as Fico is already side by side with him. As they're all following each other in the slipstream. Let's see, Fico is going on the outside, Ruletorn on the inside, Galaxy, or now Kogoda's on the inside. 3 wide they go into turn 1. As Fico is on the inside, overtaking Ruletorn at the moment, now onto the outside. Let's see what he can do, as Kogoda was touched a bit, I think. Now Fico takes the lead of this Mexican Grand Prix, absolutely doing insane stuff at the moment. Kogoda into P3, Galaxy P4, Alex into P5. He has overtaken Leonard as he tries to dive Alex on the inside. And then you have Boski P7, Cringe in P8 and Dan Edwin in P9. Henry goes up to P10, so he does a good job. As Luke Mills is on P20, so he had an incident, I think, on the beginning of the start. As Fiker's now leading this race. Yeah, leading the pack, having Return on 4 tenths behind him, and then you have Kogoda. I don't hope that Kogoda has any damage, because I thought they had a little incident, as Leclerc would say, as Galaxy's almost trying to send one down on the inside. But yeah, FICO leading this then on the main straight. The gap is 5 tenths, so I think he should be safe going into the first corner. As Alex is very close behind Lennart, as Lennart is trying to overtake him. Let's see what they can do. Lennart behind Alex at the moment. He's not going to send it. It's a bit too far away. He's going to wait as Alex overshoots the corner. And Lennart's now on the outside, turning into the inside. Absolute crazy move. As Alex goes off the track and gets overtaken by Boss Cookie. As Boss Cookie is now trying to overtake Lennart again. Boss Cookie on the outside. What's Lennart going to do? Boss Cookie brakes very late, but it's braking a bit too late. They are very clean driving at the moment. Oh, as they tap the right front, right rear from Boss Cookie sets Lennart's car a bit off. But yeah, Boss Cookie goes to P5, Lennart P6, and then Alex in P7. Let's see what Cringe or FICO and Ruleton are going to do at the moment, as Ruleton is really close to FICO at the moment. Ooh, FICO sliding a bit around, not optimal for his exits and for his tires. So they're both pretty hard working the car around with these high fuel moments, as Ruleton has a little moment of this exit. Kogoda still 7 tenths off, so he's a bit further away, but nothing too crazy. Yeah, DRS is actually activated at the moment, as Alex is now trying to overtake it's Lennart again, as we have a collision at the back. Know what's happening. Some people went into the pits, nothing crazy. Alex on the inside of Lennart, Lennart defending brilliantly and still keeping his car in front of him. So that's all good for Lennart at the moment. As Ruletorn is very close to, as we have a collision at the back. What happens? Henry is spun, I think, because he was in P10 a bit earlier. So very close margins at the moment, as 7 Echoes on the inside of Luke Mills and Luke Mills on the outside, as we have... Oh my god, so close. Banishpan on the outside of Claude, trying to overtake him as he does. Very nice overtake by Banishpan right there, as Luke Mills trying to go out on the outside of Big Sauce. And Big Sauce and 7 Echo have a little collision. Now Ruleton still very close to FICO, so if he gets the DRS at the moment, he's in a very good position to overtake FICO. It's very hard to break these gaps open, so I think Ruleton will stay in this spot at the moment. Let's see what he does on this thread. I don't know if he's going to overtake him already. Maybe he wants to save some DRS. Oh, he's already going for it, putting it side by side, and it's not very difficult for Ruleton to overtake FICO here at the moment, as they go into the first couple of corners. Ruleton has overtaken FICO at the moment. Let's see what FICO can do if he can stay behind Ruleton in the DRS. As Lennart is up to P5, he has overtaken Boss Cookie at the moment. Sorry that we missed that one, but that's great by Lennart, as they have a great little battle with each other. Alex, Boss Cookie and Lennart. Dan Edwin P9 doing a great job at the moment, still in the same position as he started, but that's not too bad. Ixie's in P10 with the Alpha Tower, also very good, showing a great race pace at the moment. As FICO is 6 tenths now off Ruletorn, trying to follow him, and he will have a little bit of DRS helping him in this straight, and also on the next straight of course, so that's not too bad for him. As Henry is now maybe going for an overtake of 7 Echo. No, they're going to the S section. It will be a little too hard as Henry goes off the track, losing the rear end through the S section. It's not very optimal for him, of course, as Ruletorn and FICO now both are going for the long straight. DRS open for FICO. I think he will not be able to overtake at this particular moment, but he's very close to Ruletorn, and as you see, he's closing by so much. As Kogoda is now 1 second off, so he needs them to battle a bit. As Boss Cookie tries to attack, as Penishpan has crashed, or did he retire in the pit lane? I think, yeah, Penishpan retired in the pit lane. I think he had an unfortunate start, so he decided to not drive and just give up, I guess. as Leonard is leading this little group at the moment with Boss Cookie behind and then Alex, as Dan Edwin also closing up almost in DRS at the moment. Hopefully for his sake he can close up a little bit up, as Fico is still 6/10 of Return, doing a very good job at the moment. He just needs to manage his tires, manage his ERS, and try to follow with the DRS, because it's so overpowered, and if he can do that, then he might do something at the end in the race or in the middle of the race. This Galaxy is now putting some pressure on Kagoda as well. Oh, as Kagoda loses the back end. That's not very optimal for him. Might Galaxy go for the overtake here? If he uses a bit of ERS, he can go for it. As we have a little collision with Henry, I guess. As he's driving very slowly. I don't know what happened there. Galaxy goes for the overtake on Kagoda. And now he's in front, so that mistake Kagoda made at the beginning of the straight costs him very dearly. As Henry now is... I don't know what Henry is doing at the moment. Doesn't look too great. Ruderturn still leading Fico, being very close. As you know, I have 2 Ferraris in the top 3, so that's very good for them, of course. Leonard still leading Alex and Boss Cookie, as he's also having 9/10s at the moment, so he's trying to break away from the DRS, of course, from Alex, and trying to have his own race, but it will be very difficult. And Dan Edwin also up in P8, so that's good for him. Overtaking Familiar Cringe, I think. Fico's almost dropped out of the DRS zone. I think he still has it, so he doesn't have to worry for this lap, but he has to close up a bit because he wants to be and trying to stay as close as possible to Ruderturn, because if Ruderturn is away, there is no coming back. Alex still following Leonard. I don't know if he's going for the overtake. Might go for the overtake as he's moving to the right side, but he's not sending it towards Leonard, so he's staying up behind for this lap. Fico is now very close to Ruderturn as well, only 5/10s off. It's good for him, as Alex picks up the first time penalty for warnings, as he's going for the move on Leonard at the moment. On the outside, doing a great job for that overtake, but he got that 3 seconds, so that's not very optimal for him. 3 seconds is a lot, especially with Leonard behind you. So yeah, that's not optimal for Alex, but he got the position, so maybe he can break away and try and extend that gap to a 3-second lead. As Fiker now is again 9/10s off Ruderturn, having a difficult time to follow Ruderturn, which is not crazy, of course. Ruderturn being in the superior car, as Fico now is sliding through those corners, trying to keep up, but Ruderturn dropped him out of the DRS zone for the moment being. So that's not too good for Fico at the moment. This Galaxy also gapped Kagoda to a 1.4 second gap, so no DRS for Kagoda either. Boss Cookie then behind Leonard. Very close margins, to be honest. These 3 are still battling, and Dan Edwin is still on at 1 second from them, trying to close, but of course they have DRS on each other, so they are breaking away from each other. As Leonard is still in front of Boss Cookie, as Alex's backlight is flashing, which means he got less than 10% ERS. Not too optimal at the moment of this race, as Benny loses it into the first corner, I think. Having a little collision maybe with someone, we don't know. He's back on the track again, so no problems for him. Only losing some positions, which are a couple of problems for him. As Leonard is very close to the back of Alex at the moment. Trying to re-engage, as Alex almost loses the car. Oh, and Galaxy has crashed! So Leonard goes up to P4. Galaxy crashes out of the S section. Leonard now P4, overtaking Alex, who's also overtaken by Boss Cookie. But the bigger thing here is that Galaxy has dropped his Ferrari and he's still sliding a lot. So I think he's going for a pit stop change. Maybe to switch tires. I don't know if it's damage. Let's see. No, he's still continuing on, so I think he has no damage, but yeah, he lost a lot of position, which is causing Leonard to go to P4, but Boss Cookie says nope, that P4 spot is mine, as they are fighting through it for the first corner. It's very close, but Boss Cookie just got ahead of Leonard, as they both are sliding off the exit, losing the rear ends, throttling too much. As Fico is 1.3 seconds away from return, so that's not too much. He didn't lose a lot of time in those 2 laps. He didn't get any DRS. As Kugoda has now a bigger gap, is being in nobody lands. Dan Edwin really close up to these 3, as they're of course battling each other, so that's very good for him. He's a P7 right now, following Alex, maybe going for an overtake at some point. As Alex there goes out of track limits, probably picking up another warning from that. Oh, as Leonard goes off the track, I think, or it was either Alex. As then Leonard again lining up his car to overtake Boss Cookie with the DRS. It's so overpowered, as you can see. Leonard breezing past Boss Cookie at the moment, and having another piece of that DRS at the moment over here. So that's very nice for him, as Boss Cookie is lagging around a bit. Nothing too crazy, as Alex is very close. As well as that Klot and Max Marta also both pick up a 3-second time penalty and had too many warnings. I think the engineers from Alfa Romeo are shouting to them that they cannot exceed it anymore. So I'm curious when the medium runners are going to pit for the hards. I think that will be around lap 16, something like that. As Leonard now has a 6/10 gap to Boss Cookie, trying to open it as he goes off track. Not too crazy, as Boss Cookie is sliding through these corners. That's the skills, of course, as well, just keeping your car in check at that moment. It's not too good for your rear tires, as they're going to heat up a lot, of course. But yeah, he still got the DRS, so nothing too bad. As Zombo also picks up a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits too much. As Boss Cookie now goes for the overtake on Leonard again. They're really going back around with this, as Leonard is sticking up the inside very close. You really had to cut that corner. Alex behind, lost a bit of time to them, as Dan Edwin is very close to Alex. Maybe looking for a gap somewhere. It's not happening that corner. And Leonard being really close to the back of Boss Cookie. These guys are really giving each other a fight at the moment for that P4 to P7 spot. As Leonard is sliding a bit, not too optimal, but Boss Cookie is having the same. As there is a, I think it's a Haas of Zombel, who has spun his car. I don't know if that's going to cause any safety cars. As Bixos picks up a 3-second time penalty. This will very close to Henry's back, trying to overtake, being on those fresher hards. Henry on the 10 lap old mediums. As Leonard again goes for an overtake on Boss Cookie. Ooh, is Boss Cookie sliding around a lot at the moment, as his hards will get better and better, and the medium tire of Leonard, of course, getting worse and worse, as his tire wear is going only up. As Zombo goes off another time, losing the car. I hope he's not ruining the races of Fico and Ruletorn. No, he stays out of the way, so he's doing a good job. As Ruletorn is still leading with a 3.3 second gap towards Fico. And FICO, of course, being in P2 with Kagoda on a 6.3 second gap. So these guys are keeping each other a bit in check. Also, Alex really closes up to the back of Cookie's car on that last corner. Leonard has an 8/10 gap at the moment, so that's pretty big. Maybe enough to stay in front on this straight. I think he will. Cringe is going for an overtake on Dan Edwin at the moment to try and regain that seventh position. As he overtakes Dan Edwin, but Dan Edwin is really braking late on the outside. Trying to remain in his position as he gets a 3-second time penalty for cutting that corner. He will try and remove that, of course. As Boss Cookie is now close to Leonard's car again. As Galaxy has spun his car around again. In the first corner. Dan Edwin really close to the back of Formula Cringe's car, trying to regain his 7th position after he picked up a time penalty, of course. Ixie's being in P9 with the Alpha Tauri is also insane. Really managing his tires at the moment. He has a 4.4 second gap. So yeah, that's all good. And he will try to remain that. Somebody's off again, but I think that's Sombol again. Already being lapped. As Leonard still has a 7/10 gap to Boss Cookie. Trying to remain that, of course, for this straight, as it's a very long straight and very easy to overtake, but the 8/10 gap is a bit too big probably to overtake. As Dan Edwin goes to the pit for his change of tires, so he's going early, trying to undercut a lot of people. As he goes to another set of mediums, so Dan Edwin is opting for the 2-stop at the moment. That's very interesting. As Alex and Boss Cookie are really chasing Leonard at the moment for that P4 spot, of course. But it stays in order for this moment. Leonard really keeping the car in front of Boss Cookie at the moment, trying to decide the pace, as Boss Cookie's tires only will get faster and faster towards the tires of Leonard and Alex, of course. As Cringe is only for 1.5 seconds off that group, so he will try and close up to them. And yeah, we'll have a little go at the DRS train as well. So X is now P8, Luke going to P9 and Galaxy P10. Galaxy not having the best race at the moment, losing the car a couple of times, not too ideal. Maybe he still can fight back to the top 5 spot maybe. It's all possible, of course, with his pace. And we have Rudatorn in front at the moment. Yeah, at the beginning, FICO, of course, overtaking Rudatorn at the start, and then you can just see that Rudatorn has the superior pace at the moment, but FICO still doing a very good job. Trying to secure his P2 at the moment, as Kagoda's 7 seconds off FICO. As Alex now also goes for the pit, and he goes to the hard, so he does the medium hard strategy, the 1-stop. Let's see where Dan Edwin is. He's overtaking Alex at the moment, so he already undercut Alex. So that means if Leonard, Boss Cookie and Cringe will pit right now, he will overtake them, as he needs to make that 2-stop work, of course. Maybe he's hoping for, as we have a safety car. How do we have a safety car all of a sudden? What have I missed? Nobody is standing. Well, that's oh, FICO has lost his front ring. That's the reason why we have a safety car. FICO has lost his front ring. That's not good for FICO. And now he has to change that front wing. We'll lose that position to Kagoda, as everyone's going to pit on the mediums. I don't know about the people on the hards. They maybe try and pit as well. But yeah, this is really shaking things up. FICO lost his front wing. I don't know how he's done that. Whoa, what's happening with Kagoda? He went into the pit lane, but he got TP'd out. Just as FICO. What the hell? Okay, I think we have a little desync problem, because Kagoda is now in the pit lane again, and FICO as well, so I don't know what's happening with the game. It's glitching a bit, but that's alright. So Leonard is now in P4. Dan Edwin is absolutely done dirty with this safety car, or isn't he? No, he's still in a great spot. Dan Edwin goes to P6 at the moment, so that's good for him. Being on those 2-lap old mediums, so he has a little bit more tire wear than them, and he needs to make the strategy work, of course. So it's not too ideal, this safety car for him. But yeah, we have now Lennart P4, Boskookie P5 on the medium, so they switched tires as well, of course, and they're being on a different tire at the moment. Let's see what that can bring for them. As Boskookie, of course, will be faster at the beginning of the stint, and Lennart will be faster on the end of the stint, so that will be very interesting. But yeah, Faiko now into P3, so he basically lost only one position towards Kogoda. I really don't know how he lost his front wing. Maybe from a back marker, but maybe he just lost the car in the S section. I didn't caught up to it very well, so my apologies for that. Luke Mills being back to P9, doing a very great job at the moment. Because if of course he spun or was caught up in a collision in the first lap. So the order right now at the moment, Rudetorn P1 still, Kogoda to P2 because something happened with Faiko's front wing. Then Lennart is now in P4 with Boskookie behind on the medium strategy in P5. Then Dan Edwin in P6, also on the mediums. Alex P7 in the Red Bull in the hard tires. Then Cringe also went to the mediums. And then Luke Mills P9 with the hards. And Galaxy also P10. Actually, this safety car is pretty good for Galaxy because now the pack is bunched up again and he can maybe try and find his way up forward again. He will probably try that. So we have Ixis in P11. He lost 2 places because of this stuff. But yeah, still not a bad position for the AlphaTauri, of course. Then Pixels in P12, considering he had a quali ban, being up around 7 positions, I think. 8 positions up for Pixels, so that's a very good job from him at the moment. Yeah, trying to find a way to the points, of course, with the Mercedes. Penalties. We have 6 drivers with penalties. As Pixels. No, who's on the pit? Sombol's going for a tire change at the moment. I guess the safety car will go in this lap and we return to the racing speed, of course. Maybe Kogoda can go for an overtake on Rudetorn, but Rudetorn just has the superior pace at the moment. So even if Kogoda goes for an overtake, it will be very hard for him to keep Rudetorn behind. Yeah, Lennart being in the P4 spot again, crazy stuff. Yeah, doing absolute the maximum with this Alpine. Having great battles with Boskookie and Alex, and now also Dan Edwin in the fight. So yeah, Lennart probably very happy in the spot he is. Maybe with a bit of luck he can get a podium as well, but then there has to happen Crazy stuff with the front three. As the safety car goes in this lap, Rudatorn is going to decide the pace at the moment, and I suggest he goes out of the last corner, maybe even at the moment when the safety car is going in. We will see. Going to focus on Pagoda, see what he can do, and maybe even on Fico. Maybe he can try and make an overtake and get his P2 back. As Rudatorn goes away, bit previous to the last corner, but he has a great restart. 7/10 as Fico is very close to Pagoda, maybe going for a move. I think he's a bit too far away. Switching on the overtake mode as he's going to try for it. As he's maybe sending one down the inside on Kagoda. As they don't touch. Kagoda on the inside for this left-hander. But Fico on the inside right now. Kagoda going a bit off track. And they're still going side by side as Rudatorn is walking away at the moment. But Fico makes this overtake work. But it's still not done because Kagoda is still on the inside. Trying to break late. Fico on the outside. Trying to push him wide and let them concede it, but they're still going side by side, absolutely crazy at the moment. And Kagoda is just not giving up, but this left-hander, you can't go side by side with this corner. Okay, they're proving me wrong at the moment. Kagoda is still going side by side, but Fico now has the position. As Dan Edwin is a P4, I don't know what happened at the back there. But Dan Edwin in the McLaren P4 as Boskook is dropping down there, so there happened something over there. Leonard lost the position. Dan Edwin up to P4. Absolutely crazy. As Dan Edwin makes a mistake and Leonard overtakes him. Dan Edwin outbrakes himself into that final corner. And now Leonard is into P4 again. Kagoda, 7/10 from Fico. They had an absolute great battle, the both of them. As Alex is now also trying to overtake Dan Edwin with Cringe behind as well. As they're going side by side into that first corner. Heavy braking zone. Cringe is braking his last one, but he makes the overtake work, and Dan Edwin is now in P7. Galaxy into P9. X is in P10, still battling with Big Sauce, as he overtakes Big Sauce right now. But he's already flashing, he's already under 10% ERS, that's not very optimal. As Benny goes through, trying to overtake Xy's here. Don't make contact, they're really clean driving, and Benny makes the overtake work absolutely crazy as Big Sauce now goes on the outside of Xy's as he's dropping a bit further down, and they're going side by side through this left-hander. Watch out as Big Sauce make the overtake, and Xy's loses the car, but he still holds on to it as he has now Max Maarten into the back of his. Oh, and Max Maarten crashes with a big collision. Max Maarten getting damage. That's the safety car, yep. You saw that coming. Crazy stuff. So Xy's loses his car, Max Maarten runs into the back of him, loses his car as well, and we have another safety car. 5-second time penalty for Tesla corner cutting the first corner, okay. Yeah. As we have Big Sauce, Galaxy, Xy's, Boss Cookie, 7 Echo and Henry and Klot all going into the pit. As Max Maarten of course, and Zommel because he doesn't have a front wing as well. So Max Maarten probably hit that Zommel in that chaotic stuff. Yeah. So everyone's now pitted again. Let's see what that does with the tires. So from P11 downwards, everyone is on new tires. Boss Cookie took his softs on. So that's very interesting to see, as well as Max Maarten and Zombel. And then the top 10 stays on the same tire. Yeah, but if they known they all switch, they probably switch tires as well. Crazy stuff. A lot of chaos at the moment. But this gives Fico the chance to attack on that safety car restart again. So it's very good for him, to be honest. As Rudatorn was already walking away because Fico and Kagoda had their battles, of course. Leonard still P4, so I think he's happy in the spot he is at the moment, with Formula Cringe behind him and then Alex, Dan Edwin, Luke Mills, Benny, and Teswill rounding off the top 10. But yeah, a lot of chaos. That also set back Galaxy again, because yeah, he had to pit and is now in P12. Ixie's also had to pit. The pack is already getting brought together again as Sombor now retires the cars he was probably left and couldn't do anything to his race anymore. And now is Max Martin in last position, as he will close up. So I don't know if the safety car will go in this lap or it will go in the next. We will know very soon, of course, and then Ruleturn will again decide the pace for the safety car restart. Very curious if Leonard can go for that P3 spot, of course. As I think he wants to get another podium with Alpine, setting his sights higher and higher, of course. Cringe also in a very good spot at the moment, P5 with those mediums. These safety car laps are helping his tires to not wear out that quickly, so I think he's pretty happy with that. But safety car is already going in this lap again, so we are going back to Kogoda, Fico, and Ruleturn. Let's see when Ruleturn goes for it. Still warming up his tires, going out of the last corner probably. Yes, as he picks up the pace. Fico's reacting pretty well. Still 4.5 tenths away, so he has to absolutely abuse his ERS, trying to overtake Ruleturn. Is he going to commit for that? I think he's trying, but Ruleturn is also using all of his ERS at the moment. But Fico just needs to go for it, as Ruleturn is setting his car to defend, of course. Fico switchbacking, trying to make an overtake, but it's not going to work. As Galaxy overtakes Big Sauce at the moment, going back to his P10 position. Benny still in P9, Luke in P8, Danet in P7, Alex in P6, Cringe in P5, sending one down the inside of Leonard. Oh, that's not going to work, and he spins himself out. And I hope Leonard is still driving. Yeah, it was a bit of a reckless move by Cringe. Not necessary, to be honest, as he's now screwing up his own race. But yeah, Leonard is still driving, so nothing too bad for him. Hopefully he doesn't have any damage. As Kogoda is very close to Fico at the moment. Fico 7 tenths behind Ruleturn, nothing too crazy. As Dan Edwin is again up to P6 and Luke is up to P7 and a net P5 if you apply those penalties of Alex and Dan Edwin at the moment. I think Benny is also very content with the place he is at. Being P9 with that Haas is a good job. Maybe he can even climb up further. As we now see Alex already burned through his ERS again. Dan Edwin still has 50%. He's going to try this move. Sending one down the inside maybe. No, he lets go a bit wide, but he doesn't make the move yet. As he maybe goes for it right now. As Kogoda picks up a 3-second time penalty, that's absolutely crucial for the podium places. As now Dan Edwin might go for it. Nope, he's still staying behind. As Fico also brought the gap with the Ruleturn a bit back. 6 tenths, not that much. And hopefully, for his sake, he can stay behind Ruleturn with the DRS zone. Dan Edwin is really close to Alex. As Luke Mills now is going for a possible overtake. Maybe a switchback on Dan Edwin. Now sending it down the inside maybe. No, he's sending it on the outside. That's not going to work, I think. Dan Edwin places that car absolutely beautiful. As there's a yellow flag again. Big Sauce is off track. I think he lost his car, but Luke Mills is now trying to overtake Dan Edwin on the outside with the Williams. Doing a very good job at the moment, going to that P6. As Fico is very close as well, but not going for the overtake yet, as Luke Mills makes the overtake on Dan Edwin work. Maybe Fico can go for it on here, but I don't think he can do it yet. Lennart 4/10 of Kagoda. If he can stay behind Kagoda with the DRS, as Kagoda loses the back end of the car a bit, he might go for another podium. Fico still holding on to the DRS of Ruderton. It's absolutely great work from him. That's the only thing he needs to do at the moment. Try and hold up to that DRS and maybe go for overtake at any moment. Lennart P4 4/10 of Kagoda, very good for him. Yeah, trying to of course do the same as Fico at the moment. Stay in that DRS zone because it's so essential. It can help you so much because Kagoda is now pulling Lennart along away from Alex, as Luke is 5/10 behind Alex. So Luke might go for overtake as he's going for the overtake. He's using his ERS, absolutely going at on the high speed way, easily on the outside, overtaking Alex. Easy move. Alex can do nothing, and that's P5 for Luke, as Lennart has overtaken Kagoda, so he went for it as well. That's crazy. Lennart takes the P3 spot away from Kagoda at the moment. Very nicely done. As Fico is 4/10 away from Ruderton, also very close margins. A lot of stuff is happening at the moment. Galaxy into P8, so he's working his way forward as well. Trying to close to the back of Dan Edwin at the moment. Fico is closing the gap more than he did at the beginning of the race. So maybe the lower fuel mode or the lower fuel is better for the Ferrari, and he might go for overtake any moment. Luke locking up a bit into that right corner as Cookie tries to overtake his teammate Familiar Cringe. Kagoda 4/10 away from Lennart. He might overtake him. I think he does, with the DRS being so overpowered. Will be an easy pass for Kagoda. I think no, Lennart is not putting a fight up against that as well. So Kagoda now overtakes Lennart. And Fico 2/10 of Ruderton. Really trying his best at the moment, trying to go and find the gap. But at the moment it's just crucial for him to stay behind Ruderton and try and follow and recharge his ERS maybe. Luke now has overtaken Alex and is pulling away a second. So Alex has no energy left. Fico being really close to Ruderton. The only problem for Fico is this S section with the dirty air. It's of course very hard to keep up then, but these DRS zones are really helping him to stay behind Ruderton. He might go for an overtake any moment. If he uses the ERS, he can maybe go for it, but he will probably try and wait to later on in the race, in the last couple of laps. His lineup is now just into the DRS zone of Kagoda, which is very crucial for him. He needs to stay with Kagoda for that P3 position. Fico is so close to the back of Ruderton, as you can see, only 2/10 separating the both of them. As he can't make the overtake work yet. Galaxy going up to P7, doing a great job, trying to close up to Alex and maybe regain the P6 spot, and maybe going after Luke Mills as well. As Dan Edwin is now P9, having Familiar Cringe right on his back, and Henry is also making his way upward to P11 at the moment. So let me know, chat, who will win this race? Do you think Fico will win the race or Ruderton? Let it know in the chat. Can Fico maybe disturb and make an end to the race wins from Ruleton, of course, 7 in a row. Absolutely crazy. FICO is the only one who's in contention to try and, yeah, of course, attack Ruleton at this moment. As they're both are sliding, Ruleton has a big moment of that last corner. And this might be the moment for FICO to overtake. No, he's not using any ERS, so he's choosing to stay behind and wait for another lap. As you see, he's closing up so much. As Galaxy now goes for the... No, he's not going for the move. I don't know what the game is telling me. As we have a yellow flag, what did happen? Klot has crashed, but more crucially, Leonard picks up a 3-second time penalty. And now Kogoda is out of trouble for that one, and they are fighting for a position. If their warnings, of course, are valid ones. So that will all be checked, of course, after the race. But at the moment, it's not looking that great anymore for Leonard. He has to now overtake Kogoda and fight him on track for it. As FICO is still holding on to that P2 spot at the moment. Yeah, Brutorn is draining a bit of his ARS at the moment. FICO still on 50%. He will, of course, try and make overtake at some point. It gets very cloudy, so I don't know if there's any rain forecasted, but it's getting darker and darker out there. As Leonard also still in the ERS zone. Galaxy and Luke also being very close to each other. But FICO is going for the overtake on Ruletorn right now. And he makes it work. So FICO has now overtaken Ruletorn as it's raining. It's raining on my screen. This is absolutely crucial. Now yeah, it's raining. Everything can happen. Who's going to pit for the Inters maybe? If it's getting that wet, what will happen? But FICO at the moment takes P1 from Ruletorn. Very crucial to keep it on the track at the moment. As Leonard is still behind Kogoda, but it's coming down with a lot of rain at the moment. So I'll think they will go to the Inters at some point. But we will be looking with these two, of course, at the moment. As FICO is now in the lead of this race, putting a lot of pressure on Ruletorn for ending his streak maybe. Who will say it, but the rain is falling down, so that's making it even more crucial to stay on track. Don't make any mistakes. Try and keep it on the tarmac, of course, but it's coming down with a lot of rain. So who is going to opt for an inter pit stop? Ruletorn is going in. Ruletorn makes the call and goes for the pit stop. Is that too early? What's Kogoda going to do? Kogoda is also going in. Leonard is also going in. Did FICO make a mistake here? As Benny has crashed his car. And now Luke Mills is into P2 as everyone is pitting behind them. But the DRS is still enabled. So I don't know what the conditions are like at the moment. As there is Ruletorn leaving the pit lane. And he has Ixies in front of him, who's also still out on dry tires. I'm very curious what's going to happen. And now we can see that the DRS is still activated, but Ruletorn is absolutely closing up to Ixies. Having a lot more pace using the DRS. So I think FICO made a mistake with not going in. And now he's paying the price for it, as the gap is still 21 seconds. So everything can happen at the moment. As Leonard and Kogoda are battling with each other. Going side by side again, the both of them. And now the DRS is disabled. As Kogoda goes on the outside of Leonard, overtaking him. So FICO should pit this lap. That's of course very clear. But for what is he going to opt? He's going into the pit lane. So he has a 20-second gap when he goes into the pit lane. Not taking any risk with the limiter. Let's see where FICO ends up. Danetman picks up another second time penalty. Luke Mills also pitting. FICO is now still into the pit lane. There's already Ruletorn coming, so FICO lost on that big time. And now the gap is probably over 3 seconds. And that's not looking good for FICO anyway. Leonard still behind Kagoda, trying to make it work. There was also a collision between Cringe and Dan Edwin. We don't know what happened there, but we'll see. As Galaxy and Luke are still fighting with each other. But yeah, Fico lost big time on that one. 4 seconds the gap now. And that will be very difficult to be brought back. As Leonard is very close to Kagoda. As still giving him a run for his money, of course. Ooh, and Kagoda's almost losing the back of the car and crashing into the S section. But he still keeps it on the track, so no worries. But he needs to pay attention on the traction as Leonard is really closing up and also losing the back end of the car. Almost touching Kagoda on the back. Sliding a lot. As you see, the grip is very minimal. They're both sliding a lot. Crash can happen any moment at the moment. As you see, Leonard and Kagoda are having a drift battle at the moment with each other. Not very optimal for the back of the tires, of course. They're both really pushing the car. It's not too crazy that they're both drifting a lot, but they have to be very careful because else they will end up in the wall as Kagoda outbrakes himself here. Lining up the car again for this straight, and Leonard now has a very good exit. Trying to go for the overtake, but it's just too far away. As we have the yellow flag, but there's no chance on the safety car anymore. And Leonard and Kagoda are still fighting with each other. As well as Luke Mills and Galaxy going side by side. Luke Mills trying to force Galaxy wide, and now Luke Mills got P6, so he's doing a very good job at the moment as Leonard loses his car and goes off track. So that's not very optimal, and now he has to watch out that Boss Cookie is not closing up to him with the 3 second window. So Leonard has now to focus on the P4 spot. The gap between Fico as somebody else. Spin again, Testwill doing some donut practicing from next year maybe if he wins the championship. As he crashes into the wall. It's quite a moment for Testwill. I don't know if there's any possibility on the safety car anymore. I don't think so, because we're only 2 laps out from the end. Testwill doing a bit of a weird stuff there. I don't know if that was intentional or he just wanted to try and spin the car in the other way. But yeah, Dan Edwin still P9 with the time penalty, of course, from the Grinch trying to close up. Henry also, maybe if he can close up to them, he can maybe get the P10 spot at the moment. Leonard still keeping Boss Cookie out of the 3 seconds, so for now he's safe. As Kagoda is having a difficult time through these corners. As now 7 Echo also crashes on the straight. Hopefully Klot doesn't crash into him. He doesn't, so that's all good. As Kagoda is really swerving around with the car. Leonard is now catching up again. Kagoda is really having a hard time with trying to keep that car in the straight line. As Rasmat says, Testwill doing his best George Russell impressions. George Russell also not having his best day, of course, as Leonard is just sliding through these corners. It's absolutely crazy at the moment. To have a look at the penalties at the moment. So 3 seconds for Kagoda and Leonard, and 6 seconds for Alex, and 11 seconds for Henry, for Dan Edwin. So Henry is in points contention again. A back-to-back points contention. Payne Williams is very good from him. Of course, Luke doing also a great job. Picks us with 3 second penalty as well. As Benny, Max Marta and Klot all have some penalties as well. As Leonard now has closed up to Kagoda again. Having absolute great race pace at the moment. Trying, maybe going for a last lap overtake. You never know. As Kagoda really has difficult time at the moment. So Wouldn't surprise me if Leonard is going to send it somewhere, but he needs to keep it in a straight line himself as well. Yeah, Luke Mills closing up to Boskuki as well, so we have some battles here at the moment that are still going to be decided. Kagoda wobbles again. Leonard slides through those corners as Luke is closing up to Boskuki. Really trying to go for that P5 move. Maybe he's going to do it over here. Boskuki moves to the side, closing the gap. That's moving and braking. That's not very nice from Boskuki. Try to not touch each other, guys, please. As Leonard is also so close to Kagoda. He needs a great exit out of this corner. And then he can maybe go for a move. He's not having the best exits. And now it's difficult for him to overtake Kagoda as he's also deploying every bit of ear as he has. And that's 7 Echo on the side. Hopefully he doesn't do anything crazy as Luke and Bosky are both on the 0%. Is Luke going to send it? No. He's braking early, maybe opting for the better exit. Cookie sliding through those corners. Leonard, no, he's not going for a move on this straight. But Luke is absolutely very close to the backhand of Boss Cookie at the moment. But it's still too far as they both are using everything they have. Rudatorn, of course. P1 still with Fico behind. Maybe Luke can send it somewhere where Boss Cookie doesn't expect it. But at the moment, it's looking not too good for Luke's overtaking chances. Kagoda and Leonard are also deciding to give up their battle. And Luke is 1.5 tenths close. He's so close at the moment. He really needs to do it in this corner, but I think it's a little bit too far away. So we'll have a little Luke. No. Rulatorn wins the Mexican Grand Prix. Fico will end in 2nd place. And then Luke and Boss Cookie are going side by side. Is Luke trying to sideswipe? Nope, he isn't. He's going to slide. Kagoda takes P3, Leonard takes P4, Boss Cookie takes P5, Luke takes P6. Galaxy with a little recovery as he crashes out, but he still gets P7. Danet in P9. Boss Cookie DNFs? What? Oh, he left the session. Maybe that's the reason. Henry going to P9 in the Williams, doing a great job. Big Sauce speed 12 because of the penalties. Ixie's P11, P14 for Benny, but he's probably overtaking Boss Cookie as well as Max Maarten, Klot and 7 Echo round off the grid. Absolutely crazy race. Rutorn winning his 8th Grand Prix in a row. 8 Grand Prix. Let that sink in. This man is the absolute reincarnation of Max Verstappen at the moment. Fico, yeah, tried to, but eventually didn't make the right call with the rain at the last laps, of course. If he went into the pit, he might have won this race. Pixel's driver of today, of course, starting at the back and making up the most positions. That's your podium. Rulatorn on top, Fico P2 again, and Kagoda P3 in a rainy Mexico City. Fireworks are out, of course. And these then are the final standings. Rulatorn also snatching the fastest lap. Leonard again with a great finishing position, just as Luke. P5 and P4 in those cars is absolutely crazy from both of them. Galaxy P6, Grinch P7, Alex P8, Henry P9 doing a good job as well. P10 for Dan Edwin. And that's then your top 10 on the Mexican Grand Prix. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back again with the F1 SFR interviews from the Mexican Grand Prix. Rutorn, you got your 8th win this season. How does that feel?
Yeah, this was a bit more hard fought. The DRS was really powerful because it's like 2 straights in a row. Other than that, the safety cars weren't really perfectly like timed. They weren't really happy. I wasn't really happy to have them. Then he overtook me, FICO, in like what was it? Like, right before the rain started. But then he said he didn't have any engineer, or it's just Ferrari strategy. So he pitted a lap too late, and that gave me like a 4 second gap in the end. So then it was just a cruise
Yeah,
to the Czech.
yeah, of course. The rain was very deciding
Yeah,
at the end. You made the right call.
props props to the guys back at the factory, Jake Boy, for the strategy.
I'm
Very good.
working for like 100 men. I am
Yeah.
100 guys in one.
Yeah,
So next race, you're pretty close to getting your second SFR championship. Are you looking
I th-
forward
I,
to the last
yeah.
race?
I think I calculated to if I finish just P3 or above, I win.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think the gap is
Then I can
now.
take a vacation.
You can take some time off. I wonder if Jake Boy is going to let that happen.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, thank you guys, and a great race, and have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Hello. Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have Fico over here, our P2 in a Mexican Grand Prix. Fico, how did that happen, and how did it all went on the end with the rain?
Actually, pretty decent race. Let's get back to the quali real quick. I had the pace to outqualify Ridditon, but I invalidated my last lap, which was like 2000s enough to get pole, but invalidated, so P2 starting. Then I started in the race with like overtaking Ridditon in lap 1, just driving away, then trying to follow him, but the Red Bull pace on the medium tire was too great for me, and then I crashed as well.
Yeah, I saw that. Well, I didn't catch it on stream, but I was already wondering. Did you lose the car into the S section?
Yeah, no, the second corner, I just pressed a little bit on the throttle, like I think half throttle I did, and then the car just went spinning to the left. I did everything in my power to stop the car on time, but I ended up in the wall anyway. Destroyed my left side of the wing, completely broken off. And then I had to the game decided to put a safety car in, which was a bit extreme for the conditions, I think, but I mean it saved my race a bit.
Yeah, exactly. The Brazilian Grand Prix, how do you feel for that one? Do you think you maybe can go for a win at that race?
I don't know if I'm even there next week, so I have to see.
Well,
But if I'm racing, I don't think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I hate Brazil with my life. I tried to ban it into the season, so
yeah. Well,
well, anyway.
maybe you have a slight chance if you're there. Thank you, and you did a great job today.
Yes, no problem, no problem. Het leukste stukje van de interview ben je al vergeten dat ik had kunnen winnen vandaag. Uiteindelijk. Alleen ik pitte gewoon niet op die inters. Ik dacht ik rijd door, maar ik zat vooraan. Helemaal kut. Nee, het zit gewoon een beetje.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the race, the end of the Mexican GP. I have a small message. SimHaven is an online racing community for everyone. This was SimHaven's F1 Round 8 in Mexico. The event was possible thanks to Koen, our commentating, that's me, Alex, who made our beautiful calendar, Elias, who runs our awards, Wobbs, who wrote our rulebook, Tekka, who practically runs the place, and of course all our awesome F1 drivers and their team principals. Our ACC branch, Heaven GT, is back to doing Sprint Cup this month. More on that and our whole operation at simhaven.org. Check out our YouTube channel. It's just SimHaven, so that's not difficult to look up as well. And of course, subscribe. Join the Discord server at bit.ly/SimHaven Formula. That's where all the racing and signing up is at. SFR's esports team has qualified for the Stunt Championship Series Season 1. The circuit sponsored by the Stunt needs your support. The more people get the app and join that Discord server, the more likely we are get to more opportunities like this. So more info at bit.ly/SimHaven Formula. Our next stream event is Saturday with F2 round 9, and also, of course, at Sunday we'll be there with Brazil for Formula 1 series. We also have a new feeder series, F1.5. It's hosting round 3 in Spa next Sunday. We still have open seats, so if you want to sign up, of course, do so at bit.ly/SimHaven Formula. And thanks for watching, and see you there.